So bring the mind to the breath and just notice the sensation of the air as you're inhaling and exhaling. It's slightly warmer as you're exhaling, a little bit cooler as you're inhaling. And if there are any sounds in your environment, just allow those sounds to be there. Try not to follow them with your mind or investigate. And then just notice what's arising in the mind. And try not to judge or have opinions, criticize. Just allow those thoughts and feelings to be there. And then just very briefly bring to mind all those people of your life, your loved ones, the ones you're finding a little bit difficult, and then your strangers. Just think we're doing this practice for all these people of our life and for all sentient beings. So just remember there is no negativity that cannot be purified. So there's nothing that you've done that's so awful that you can't do anything about it. We create negativity with our mind, so we can equally create positivity with our mind. So we're purifying using the 4 opponent powers. So we start with the power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you've done to harm another sentient being on this day, in this life, and perhaps in any past lives. So just think maybe if bring one person to mind or one sentient being to mind that maybe you've harmed, and just have some regret in your heart. And the reason we regret is not because we're telling ourselves off. We're not making ourselves feel bad. It's based on karma. It's completely logical. We experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions. So having harmed others, we will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And thus we cannot bear the thought of any future suffering. So we know from the present suffering that it's unpleasant. So logically, it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this. I regret from the depths of my heart, having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest are delusions, basically, that are the source of why we harm others. And then think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance. So we rely upon, we turn to the Buddha, the doctor who has the methods that we can use to purify. And we're not needing the Buddha to forgive us. We're purifying ourselves by relying upon his methods. So just imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head, and here's your guru, your teacher, she or he, they, however you understand them or perceive them or relate to them. This person manifesting in this form for your benefit, made of radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. And this lotus, although born out of mud, is untainted by that mud, just like our enlightened potential, born out of our delusions, yet untainted by them. So he has this beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom. The right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two, which symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings. So the very beings we have harmed and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of someone that maybe you harmed recently, and then also maybe someone who has harmed you. And just think, try and develop in your mind a wish for them to be free from suffering, particularly for those who've harmed you, because the suffering they've caused you is going to ripen for them in the future as some kind of suffering. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these sentient beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. So now we come to the power of the remedy, and this is the actual medicine, doing the practice of purification. So we start with the purification of the body. And Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart. And it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahum Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think there's no way you could do anything other than benefit others now with the body. And so the next is the purification of the speech, and Vajrasattva now very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and forcefully enters your crown, filling your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, and this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So you can imagine that all the gossip and the harsh speech and useless speech and lying, talking badly about others behind their backs and getting other people to agree with you, all of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mipiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Matsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others now with your speech. And the next is a purification of the mind, and Vajrasattva now very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So just as when we walk into a room and we flick on that light switch, that light instantly dispels the darkness. Not switching on a light, dispelling darkness. So you can just imagine the same things happening as Vajrasattva sends this light from his heart. As soon as it touches your heart chakra, it eradicates all the darkness of the negativity of your mind. So that is your depression and attachment, all your delusions, grudges, bitterness, jealousy, all of this stuff instantly dispelled. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta me boa sawa sidi me piyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajrama me mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida me boa sutokaya me boa supokaya me boa Anarakta me boa sawa sidi me piyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawa sidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawa sidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all your own suffering, for every single one of us, and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, and they're totally gone. Imagine they're gone, and think there's no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. And this time imagine that Vajrasattva sends light and nectar, and this fills you completely, eradicating even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your mind. As to recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawa sidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawa sidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawa sidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawa sidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawa sidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawa sidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawa sidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe. Now feel you are completely purified. Not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to omniscience have been removed. And so now we come to the power of the resolve, and this is the fourth step in the purification process, and a really crucial one. And this is the determination that we make. It's a promise we make to ourselves to not harm with our body and our speech and our mind. So really, in promising to not harm others, we're actually taking care of ourselves. We're promising not to harm ourselves. So we actually, other people are the beneficiaries of our kindness and our ability to work on our mind, but we are also. Probably we're the biggest beneficiaries. So we think of it that way. So think of something that you'd like to work on, whether it be your speech or maybe some negative self-talk, or maybe you get overly stressed about things where it's not maybe entirely necessary. Maybe one dish in the sink stresses you out, so perhaps that's not necessary to get stressed about that. So maybe just think about talking ourselves down, talking ourselves off the ledge, keeping our mouths shut when something wants to kind of fall out that maybe is inappropriate or hurtful. And see how long you can do it for. 3 seconds overnight, whatever that works. But just keep plugging away, moving forward, slowly, slowly. So Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wanting to merge with your mind, melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. Think my guru's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same thing. And next, Rinpoche does recommend to just meditate for a little bit on emptiness. So we think about there in emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. And so at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. So this way we can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. And let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created from doing this purification to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And for His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, sources of every single benefit and happiness in this world, to the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso, I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. And for Lama Zopa Rinpoche, O Tub Shul Chang Jin Jam Gon Gyalaway, Tenzin Kyong Pelaway, Kunza Dog Porze, Chog Sum Kurway Leg Mon to Drub, Dog Sog Dulaje, Kondu Jab Tin Shog. Lama Ursel Venerable One, to whose kindness exceeds that of all the conquerors, for those wanderers in far-off places, especially the West, mindful of your loving concern for us and intentionally descending again into a family of a far distant land, we make this request. O Lama, please, please live long. And for Geshe Shera, beloved teacher, leading your students toward wisdom and compassion, explaining through exacting discernment the steps of the graduated path, you are the unequal guide. Please live a long and stable life. Okay, everybody. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming. Shayla, thanks for coming and rescuing me from the mute land. Thank you for hosting, Michael, and lots of love, everybody. Good night. See you tomorrow. Thank you.